Good morning, dear participants. I am very happy to be here to share my research work in this international conference organized by Kishanvir Mahavidyalaya Y. So today I am going to present my research paper on impact of urbanization on river system and application of GIS techniques, a case study of Kolhapur district. So friends, we know the flood hazard a greatest damage potential because it's damage human life, animal life, social life, also is disturb economical balance. That's why this flood hazard is greatest potential compared to other natural disasters. I searched and I found some of the reason for this flood hazard is urbanization and river system. And somehow human being also responsible for that because unplanned development. We know the cities become growing day by day and become mega cities. So construction is going on very high level. People also like to build their houses in river, near river or river bank. Another reason I found that is population growth. As per the census 2011, we know the population growth rate is high. That's why another reason is population for the construction and development. Also, many people are migrating from village to the cities for their job and other activities, education. Therefore, role of GIS, Geographical Information System, in planning and development, the city is crucial. Objective of my research to analyze the flood situation in Kolhapur city, to identify the factors responsible for the situation, to assess the role of GIS in risk management. I have chosen this study area. The Kolhapur district is extended between 15 degrees 43 minutes to 17 degrees 10 minutes north latitude and 73 degrees 44 minutes to 74 degrees 46 east longitude. The districts cover about 7,659 square kilometer area. But I have selected area from 16 degree 70 minutes to 16 degree 73 north and 74 degree 21 minutes to 74 degree 23 east. This catchment area cover part of Karvit, Hatkalangle and Siroli of the Kolhapur district. I found the factors are responsible for the flood situation. First factor it was we know the Kolhapur district is exist in the western Maharashtra means western Ghat. So definitely the rainfall rate is little higher. Another reason I found that blocking of tributaries, impact of urbanization. What plans executed from 2010 development plan is under uncontrolled manner. People build their houses, buildings, construction, real estate business. Another reason is blocking of tributaries, is encroachment by the farmer. Fourth reason I found, blocking tributaries, weeds, grass, mainly due to very flat surface. And fifth reason I found, meandering rivers affecting flow of water. Observation, the present research using GIS technique, flood vulnerability map generated by using thematic map layers include slope, elevation, rainfall, and drainage density. The urban flood vulnerability is divided into the four categories: very low, low, moderate, and high zone. According to the flood vulnerability map, 52 square kilometer area comes under flood zone of the Kolhapur district. Conclusion, the study shows the use of GIS technique is useful for analyzing flood vulnerability zone. Identified zone can be useful for flood vulnerability planning and settlement. Flood vulnerability map can give plan to avoid flood risk. And fourth, use of GIS techniques rescue the life of human, animals, and prevent economical damages. Thank you.
Welcome to all. Myself Rajesh Kamble. I am from ICS College Khed Ratnagiri. Today I am going to present a research paper on the topic of stages of socio-economic development in Ratnagiri district. Introduction. The socio-economic development is determined by the economic indicators of the region and different social amenities served to the people in a geographical region. The development of socio-economic infrastructure indicates the quality of life of people of a particular area. Objective of this research study: 1. To assess the stages of socio-economic development at district and tehsil level. 2. To understand spatio-temporal patterns of socio-economic development in district of Konkan division and tehsil level of Ratnagiri district during 1981 to 2011. 3. To suggest recommendation for their improvement in the study region. This is a location map of study area. Ratnagiri district is my study area. Ratnagiri district is located in the Konkan region of Maharashtra. There are 9 tehsil in the Ratnagiri district. Research methodology. The present research study is based on primary and secondary data. For measuring their socio-economic development, 12 development indicators are selected for district level and 11 development indicators are selected for tehsil level. For assessing the overall change in the level of socio-economic development, composite indexes are constructed of district and tehsil level. After arranging composite indexes values, they are divided into 3 categories for district and tehsil level, such as developed stage, moderately developed stage, and backward stage. This is a list of development indicators. This graph shows that district-wise stages of socio-economic development of Konkan division 1981 to 2011. According to composite indexes, Thane district was continuously remained in developed category from 1981 to 2011, but Ratnagiri district continuously reserved in backward categories from 1991 to 2011 except 1981, and remain in bottom position in the Konkan region. because of low rate of socio-economic indicators and industrialization than other district. This graph shows that Tehsil-wise stages of socio-economic development in Ratnagiri district 1981 to 2011. According to composite indexes here, Ratnagiri and Chiplun Tehsil continuously reserved in developed category during 91 to 2011 because of Ratnagiri is the headquarters of Ratnagiri district and Chiplun is a industrially developing region. But Mandangarh Tehsil always remain in backward categories. Conclusion: from the above discussion, it can be seen that the socio-economic development of Ratnagiri district is limited to Ratnagiri and Chiplun Tehsil. Apart from Mandangarh Tehsil, the northern part of district, other Tehsil are in the developed stage, while the Tehsil in the southern part of district, namely Lanza, Sangameshwar and Rajapur, are in the backward stage of development. Mandangarh is one of the most backward Tehsil in district. Urban areas are at the peak of socio-economic development. Therefore, Ratnagiri and Chiplun Tehsil in Ratnagiri district are at the forefront of socio-economic development as compared to the other Tehsil. Ratnagiri and Chiplun Tehsil are developed while the rest of Tehsil are moderately developed or backward. All this shows that the result of the Tehsil development process in Ratnagiri district is positive but not as significant. Suggestions: it is possible to develop industries based on local resources, mainly in the less developed Tehsil of the district. The development process of backward Tehsil can be enhanced with the help of agro-based industry and core industry, fish canning industry, tourism industry, etc. There is a need to enhancing the activities of animal husbandry along with the agricultural development. Irrigation facilities should be most of the low development Tehsil for the cultivation of crops. This is the references. Thank you.
हॅलो एव्हरीवन, गुड मॉर्निंग. मी भूषाली सुधीर मसाय, मॉडर्न कॉलेज गणेशखिंडमधून डॉक्टर संजय पाटील यांच्या मार्गदर्शनाखाली मी हा पेपर तयार केलेला आहे. माझ्या पेपरचा विषय आहे पुणे जिल्ह्यातील लोकसंख्येच्या परिवर्तनाचा अभ्यास. यामध्ये मी पुणे जिल्ह्याच्या लोकसंख्येच्या परिवर्तनाचं 2001 पासून तर 2011 पर्यंतचा आढावा घेतलेला आहे. त्यात पुणे जिल्ह्याची लोकसंख्येची घनता, साक्षरता दर, लिंग प्रमाण, ग्रामीण शहरी लोकसंख्या, स्त्री पुरुष प्रमाण इत्यादी गोष्टींचे विश्लेषण केले आहे. पुण्याच्या लोकसंख्येवाढीबद्दल बोलायचं म्हटले तर 2001 मध्ये ती 72,32,000 इतकी होती, तर 2011 मध्ये ती 94,29,000 इतकी झाली. त्यात पुरुषांची लोकसंख्या ही 49,24,000 इतकी होती, तर महिलांची लोकसंख्या ही 45,05,000 इतकी होती. 2011च्या जनगणनेत ही महाराष्ट्राच्या लोकसंख्येच्या 7.47% होती. 2011च्या जनगणनेनुसार 2001च्या जनगणनेत लोकसंख्येमध्ये 30% बदल झाला. मागील 2001च्या जनगणनेनुसार पुणे जिल्ह्यात 1991 मध्ये 30% वाढ झालेली आहे. त्याचप्रमाणे पुण्यातील साक्षरता दर हा 2001 मध्ये 85% होता, तर 2011 मध्ये तो 90% झाला. लिंगानुसार पुरुषांचे साक्षरतेचे प्रमाण हे 90%, तर स्त्रियांचे प्रमाण हे 81% आहे. व पुण्यातील लोकसंख्येपैकी 61% लोक हे शहरी भागात राहतात, तर ग्रामीण भागात 39% लोक राहतात. पुण्यातील बेघर असलेली लोकसंख्या ही महाराष्ट्राच्या एकूण 3,400 कुटुंबे फुटपाथवर बचत नसलेल्या घरात पुणे जिल्ह्यात राहतात. 2011च्या जनगणनेच्या वेळी बेघर असलेल्यांची लोकसंख्या ही 11,700 इतकी होती. पुणे महानगरपालिकेला असे आढळले की 2011 मध्ये शहरातील सुमारे 40% लोक हे झोपडपट्टीमध्ये राहतात. हे पुणे जिल्ह्यातील एकूण लोकसंख्येच्या अंदाजे 0.12% आहे. व लिंग प्रमाणाचे बोलायचे म्हटले तर 2001च्या जनगणनेतील आकडेवारीत पुण्याचे लिंग गुणोत्तर हे 1000 पुरुषांमागे 919 होते, तर 2011 मध्ये ते 915 झाले. वरील सर्व विश्लेषणावरून असे दिसून येते की आशियाई पॅसिफिक मधील सर्वात वेगाने विकसित होणाऱ्या शहरांपैकी पुणे एक शहर आहे. पुणे शहराच्या लोकसंख्येवाढीत मोठ्या प्रमाणात बदल होत आहे. 2001 या काळात 40% वाढ झाली, तर ही वाढ 16 लक्ष ते 25 लक्षावर वाढली. गेल्या 40 वर्षातील दशकात वाढीचा दर कमीत कमी 40% होता असा अंदाज आहे. अशा प्रकारे भारतातील 8वा सर्वात मोठा तर राज्यातील 2 नंबरचा सर्वात मोठा असलेला जिल्हा क्षेत्रफळाचा 5% भाग व्यापलेला आहे. त्यामुळे पुणे शहराच्या परिवर्तनाचा अभ्यास करणे हे गरजेचे आहे. कारण पुण्यामध्ये IT क्षेत्र, औद्योगिक क्षेत्र, शिक्षण क्षेत्र, आरोग्य क्षेत्र व तसेच मिलिटरीचा बेस असल्यामुळे पुणे शहराचा अभ्यास करणे हे गरजेचे आहे. थँक्यू.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. P.R. Wani, Assistant Professor in Arts and Science College, Chausala, District Beed, Maharashtra State. Today, the whole world is facing pandemic hazards of coronavirus COVID-19. Today, I am going to discuss with you the effect of COVID-19 on the health of human being. Scientists firstly identified a human coronavirus in 1965. It called a common cold. Later, that decided researchers found a group of similar human and animal virus and named them after their corona, like as Epicurus 7 coronavirus can infected human. Then 7 coronavirus can infected human at southern China in 2002 and quickly spread to 28 other countries. More than 8,000 people were infected by July 2003 and 774 died. Coronavirus causes respiratory infections including pneumonia, cold, sneezing, and coughing. While in animal, it causes diarrhea, upper respiratory diseases. Coronavirus terminated human to human or human to animal via airborne droplets. Coronavirus enters in human cells through membrane. ACE2 expertise respected WHO and ECDC advise to avoid public places and close contact to infected persons and pet animals. Some provisional healthy people who survived COVID have been left within evidence of injury to heart and kidney. It is too soon to know whether the damage is permanent and whether it will affect their level of functions. There also are people who survived COVID and have no evidence of injury to the heart, kidneys, and brain, but who nevertheless have not refunded to full health. They still have fighting body aches, shortness of breathing, headache, and trouble sleeping. They can't return to work. They cannot fulfill their responsibility at home. They are being called long hairless. Such lingering systems have been reported following recovery from a number of other infections, illness including. Thank you.
My paper title, An Enquiry of Moderate Morphogenetic Region of Maharashtra by Shantaram Kokate and Arjun Loke. Present study focus on an assessment of climatic, geomorphic and environmental factors at regional scale. Peltier's model combined with RS data and GIS techniques is employed to accomplish the goal of his study and find out the characterization of morphogenetic region. The climatic data of mean annual rainfall and temperature are used for the delineation of morphogenetic region. For the characterization, wind speed and humidity also used. In the physical parameter, relative relief and slope are used. This definition is logically right and acceptable. Slope is an area of land that makes a definite angle to horizontal landscape. In geomorphology, landscape is made up of slope units. The slope may be defined as the vertical inclination between the hilltop and valley bottom, stands with the horizontal line and expressed generally in degrees. The present day's data sources are improved such as topographical map, aerial photographs and satellite image. Different thematic maps from various sources such as Geomorphology of India, Geological Survey of India, Geology and Mineral Map of Maharashtra, Soil Region Map of India, National Atlas of India, Soil Map of Maharashtra, National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning are used for analyzing the characteristic of geomorphic region. This morphogenetic region extended over the area having mean annual rainfall between 88.9 to 152.4 centimeters and temperature 3.32 to 29.44 degrees Celsius. This region is spread over the area of around 81,000 square kilometer, which around for 26.61% of the total area of Maharashtra.
वन डे इंटरनॅशनल कॉन्फरन्स किसानवीर महाविद्यालय वाई डिस्ट्रिक्ट सातारा आदरणीय व्यासपीठ मी डॉक्टर गोदावरी आत्माराम गौरकर असिस्टंट प्रोफेसर एस चंद्रा महिला महाविद्यालय साकोली जिल्हा भंडारा डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ जिओग्राफी माझा संशोधन पेपरचा विषय चंद्रपूर जिल्ह्यातील लोकसंख्या वृद्धी आहे. प्रस्तुत शोध निबंधासाठी महाराष्ट्राच्या पूर्वेकडील चंद्रपूर जिल्हा हा अभ्यास घटक असून त्यामध्ये 15 तालुक्यांचा समावेश आहे. प्रस्तुत शोध निबंधाचा उद्देश चंद्रपूर जिल्ह्यात मोठ्या प्रमाणात होणारे औद्योगिकरण, त्यामुळे लोकसंख्येत होणाऱ्या वृद्धींचा अभ्यास करण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. सांख्यिकीय माहिती व संशोधन पद्धती सदरचा अभ्यास पूर्व प्रकाशित आकडेवारीवर आधारलेला असून ही सांख्यिकीय माहिती 2011 चा जनगणना अहवाल पुस्तकातून संकलित केलेली आहे. तसेच या अभ्यासासाठी 1901 ते 2011 या कालावधीची निवड केलेली आहे. या दशकाची शेकडा वार्षिक वृद्धी दर काढण्यासाठी गिब्स यांच्या सूत्राचा वापर केलेला आहे. हा वृद्धी दर दाखविण्यासाठी सारणीचा उपयोग केलेला आहे. त्याचबरोबर आलेखाचाही उपयोग केलेला आहे. प्रस्तुत शोध निबंधाचा निष्कर्ष पुढील प्रमाणे आहे. चंद्रपूर जिल्ह्यातील लोकसंख्या वृद्धी परिणामी लोकसंख्या वृद्धीचा अधिक भार नैसर्गिक साधन संपदावर आधारलेला आहे, उत्तरोत्तर वाढतही आहे. तसेच उद्योगधंद्यातील रोजगारांच्या निमित्ताने परप्रांतातून मोठ्या प्रमाणात स्थलांतर झाले आहे. सोबतच विविध उद्योगाची निर्मिती, व्यापार पेठेचा विस्तार व शैक्षणिक सोयींची उपलब्धता इत्यादीमुळे लोकसंख्येत फार मोठ्या प्रमाणात वाढ झालेली आहे. तसेच प्रस्तुत शोध निबंधाचा सारांश. या शोध निबंधात गिब्सच्या पद्धतींचा वापर करून चंद्रपूर जिल्ह्यातील लोकसंख्या वृद्धी शोधण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. चंद्रपूर जिल्हा हा अभ्यास घटक निवडलेला आहे. या अभ्यासासाठी 1901 ते 2011 हा कालावधी निवडलेला आहे. सदरची लोकसंख्या वृद्धी 1911 ते 1921 या दशकात नकारात्मक वाढ झालेली आहे. मात्र त्या पुढील दशकामध्ये लोकसंख्या सतत वाढत गेलेली आहे. तसेच लोकसंख्या वृद्धीकरिता भौगोलिक परिस्थिती, नागरीकरण, शेती व औद्योगिक विकास आणि लोकसंख्याशास्त्रीय घटकांचा निकटचा संबंध दर्शवितात. धन्यवाद.